Hi, I'm Denise Olasala, and this is my sister,
Rosie Olasala.
We're the Olasala Sisters. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Lit Bible Study with the Olasala Sisters. So we're reading the Bible. We're reading the New International Version. We are in the New Testament. There's an Old Testament, which is the beginning part of the Bible, Genesis to Malachi. And then those are the books of the Bible. And then there is the New Testament that we're in, the second half. And that's from the book of Matthew, which is the one we're in, to the book of Revelation. So we're reading Matthew chapter 27, verses 1 to 10. And the heading is Judas hangs himself. Here we go. Early in the morning, all the chief priests and elders of the people came to the decision to put Jesus to death. They bound him, led him away, and handed him over to Pilate, the governor. When Judas, who had betrayed him, saw that Jesus was condemned, he was seized with remorse and returned the 30 silver coins to the chief priests and the elders. I have sinned, he said, for I have betrayed innocent blood. What is that to us? They replied. That's your responsibility. So Judas threw the money into the temple and left. Then he went away and hanged himself. The chief priests picked up the coins and said, "It is against the law to put this into the treasury since it is blood money." So they decided to use the money to buy the potter's field as a burial place for foreigners. That is why it has been called the Field of Blood to this day. Then what was spoken by Jeremiah the prophet was fulfilled. They took the 30 silver coins, the price set on him by the people of Israel, and they used them to buy the potter's field as the Lord commanded me. Okay, Rizzy. Thoughts on that?
Okay, so to me, Judas obviously was a pawn because the priests were the ones who wanted Jesus gone. And then...
all along.
Yeah. So then Judas got wrapped up in that, and then here we are. And then obviously eventually he felt bad for what he did. He was like, oh my goodness, I messed up. And he tried to give the money back.
Yeah.
And then they didn't even take that.
Yeah.
And then he just killed himself by hanging. So at least the money was used for something good. It bought a field where they would now be able to bury foreigners. So, okay, good. But for me, I can just imagine how alone Judas must have felt. He betrayed Jesus, so that means he doesn't have the disciples anymore on his side. Like, I don't think he would even venture to be like, oh, guys, I just want to tell you I'm sorry for what I did. I wasn't thinking, I don't know why I did it, or, trying to explain why he did whatever. I felt like he had nobody. He messed up. There's nobody there to talk it through. Jesus is still alive. Technically, we all could have met, us the disciples, met and done a prison break.
To Jesus.
Yup.
That's a different Bible there. That's a different ending of the story there.
Okay. But, just out of, there were options, but because he was alone.
So Judas felt so bad that he should have rounded up the disciples and been like, let's go get him. That's what you mean by prison break?
Yes.
Okay.
But not that. I just meant that if he had had somebody to talk to, he would have seen it wasn't, you can still fix this. This is a fixable situation. Or the disciples could have, maybe it was the disciples. So he goes confesses to them and says, guys, I messed up royally. Totally screwed up. I did this thing because I thought I was doing the right thing. Whatever his reasoning were, obviously they're angry. And then maybe they're like, okay, let's go get our Jesus. And then he has his brothers again. And then now they can go do a prison break and break Jesus out of jail before all this. And then, but my point is, Jesus wouldn't let you break him out, but it would be important that Judas sees, and Jesus probably would have told Judas, like, Judas, it's okay. This was how it's supposed to happen. It's okay.
No, then Judas really might have killed himself after that. Do you know the guilt that, like, it's one thing, he killed himself with all that guilt, right? Because he tried to make it right. He couldn't. And then he's like, okay, I just have to die. So now if he went to Jesus, and we know Jesus most likely would have just been like, Judas, it's okay. I knew you were going to do that. I forgive you. we would hope that Jesus's forgiveness would be like the saving grace, you know? But that might really now push him over the edge again still, like where he's just now feels like, wow, so you really are like as good as I thought you were. Now you're even better, like, because you forgave me with me and my sorrow. So I don't know. It's still.
And then Jesus could have told him, I need you to live.
Yeah.
And then, you know, time will make your guilt a little bit less, maybe.
Yeah.
Also, you should probably move out of here because everybody's going to get you. I don't know. Obviously, it had to be done this way, but because, you know, this prophecy had to be fulfilled. But I just always feel so bad for Judas.
I understand
whatever his
that.
reasoning were, he ended up doing this thing. He regrets it. He wants to fix it. He just thought, maybe I can give the money back. But there was a whole man in prison that you could have been breaking out.
You're so stuck on this prison break.
Because if you want to fix it, there were two things you need to fix. You need to give back the money and you need to break the person out that you messed up. You put him in jail. So, yeah.
But the prophecy is, I think, what would Jesus always say? The Son of Man betrayed, something like that. So, like, he had to get betrayed.
Yes, he was still betrayed. Me breaking you out of prison, the betrayal still happened. Me breaking you out of prison is different. It's just, you know.
Yeah.
But obviously, Jesus would have stopped you anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
But I just, for my guilt, me as Judas, for my guilt, I'm trying to get you out.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, because I'm trying to fix it.
I agree with your point. I think in general with suicide, like, people feel just alone.
Of course.
And so, yeah, you're trying to create a situation where he could have had a community, had some support.
Yeah.
Because maybe then that's a way to stop the suicide. And that's like a really serious thing. That alone feeling.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then you're already feeling guilty and you're alone. So all your fear, everything is ramped up. And then, he ended up hanging himself. And then obviously he obviously had family and they're missing you. And then forever you are known as Judas the betrayer. Because here we are, how many years later?
Thousands of years later.
And you know, I'll be saying, look at you giving that person like Judas kiss.
Look at that Judas kiss. We do say that.
Mwah! Let me give you a Judas kiss real quick. You know, we say things like that. But when I read the story, I just feel so awful for Judas. I feel so sorry for him. Okay, what are your thoughts?
So when I read this, I knew about, you know, Judas betrays Jesus. I think I knew Judas kills himself. But I didn't know about this field of blood that was bought. And so I looked it up on Wikipedia, and allegedly it's a real place. According to Wikipedia, that is. But so yeah, that's interesting. I was like, wow, like, you know, when stuff gets, Jesus is real, Judas and the disciples, that's real. But like to have like even like stuff that's here to this day because of stuff that happened then, ooh,
I think it's really cool.
That's really real. I don't want to visit there though. I don't need to be there on the blood money. Nope, cross that off the list. So then, thank you. What I found was like a little bit not cool. So Judas tries to give back the money that they gave to him because they wanted Jesus dead. And then, so he throws it to them and leaves. And then they decide, oh no, we can't put it. No, they said we can't put it into the treasury because it's blood money. Like, what are you talking about? That's the money that you gave. So now it's dirty money. It can't go with your clean money. It came from your dirty hands.
My hands were clean. I washed them.
Yeah, and that's why they were plotting and planning to keep their hands clean. No, your soul is dirty.
Ooh.
Trash.
Not the soul.
The soul is dirty.
Soul?
Trash. So, yeah, I thought that was interesting. But just the suicide and all of that, because, so we're not reading the Lord's Supper and the Last Supper, but you know that on a TikTok, I don't know if you guys watch TikTok, interact with TikTok, on a social media platform, but there'll be this one where it's like, the audio is like something like, oh, one of you will betray me, right? Something like that. And it's like supposed to be Jesus talking, like, one of you will betray me. And
is it me, Jesus?
And each of the disciples is like, is it me, Jesus? Is it me, Jesus? And then Jesus, so the first one, it's like, is it
me, Jesus?
No, it's not you. And then the second disciple is like,
is it me, Jesus?
And then Jesus like, no, not you either. And then Judas asks,
is it me, Jesus?
Is it me, Jesus? That's the whole TikTok, because it's like, yes, it's you, Judas. You're the one who betrays me. But then people use it for like other things, not religious. It'll be like, I don't know. I'm 30 years old and I'm walking up the stairs, and who's gonna betray me? Is it my lungs, my knees, my back? But anyways, I'm getting besides the point. I just mean to say that at the Last Supper, like, Jesus already knew, and they had a discussion about like who's gonna, the person sitting at is here at the table is gonna betray me, and then everybody's like, not me, not me, not me, and then Jesus does say, yes, it is you, to Judas, and then they kept eating. So like,
I mean, there was a meal in front of you.
There was a meal. They were
grubbing. You gotta eat the meal. He said, sit and
drinking
eat with
wine too.
He said, break bread with me.
So
you got to finish the food.
It's like the night before, Judas was with all of them eating, and then the day after, that day, later on, he's just so alone.
Yeah.
And it's just like, you can't know like what somebody's going through, and I guess even when there's horrible things people do, like
betray Jesus.
Like betray Jesus, betray the most innocent, the most awesome. We still have to find a way to like, we know Jesus would have forgiven. We really know. Like,
we know things like turn the other cheek.
We know Jesus would have forgiven. On the cross, Jesus forgave.
And then also at the Last Supper, he didn't smack him and make him leave. Come back when you're going to do your betrayal stuff. He let you eat.
We kept eating.
Yeah.
With some good eatings. But yeah, so it's a tough story. I think Judas, it's a tough character, but it's like if it wasn't you, it would have been somebody else.
Unfortunately, it was just you.
It was just you, but it would have been somebody else. I wonder, is Judas like in heaven? It doesn't say, right? It just
says he hung himself.
He hanged himself. Then he went away and hanged himself.
Yeah.
I don't know. If we know that he really was remorseful.
Yeah.
And it was a prophecy. Like, if it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else. So I have to
Peter, John, Luke.
Peter and them would be like, not me.
Not me.
Would have never been me. But I don't know. He must be, right? He must
I hope
be in
he
heaven.
is.
Ooh, I don't know. That's tough.
I don't know.
That's tough. All right. Any last points on there?
No.
Okay.
No.
So that's a tough one. Judas hangs himself. But thanks for joining us on another episode of Lit Bible Study with the Olasala Sisters. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Be blessed. And if you're feeling alone or anything like that, check the description box for a number you can call for some resources on suicide. Like, it gets better, and
whatever it is you did, whatever it is you think happened, or
there's a way through it.
Yeah.
And it's not suicide. And
there's somebody here, somebody anywhere who will miss you. Just hold on, hang on.
Hold on. See you later.